The locomotive engineer failed to switch tracks on the historic Strasburg Railroad in Pennsylvania. There was a short circuit at a station in India where electric wires for trains can carry up to 272,000 volts. Even standing a few meters away from these lines could result in burns, but thankfully, no one came close enough. This is how the city authorities realized it was time to repair the tracks. Remember, trains cannot maneuver like other vehicles. Snowfall in southern Britain is a rare event that often causes major disruptions in transportation. Fortunately, that's not the case here. The sparks seen on the rails are simply a result of higher heat dissipation. You can even drift on train tracks. A fire broke out in an industrial building in Richmond, Canada, spreading to an old decommissioned railway trestle. The wooden bridge, treated with creosote, a wood preservative, produced thick plumes of black smoke that stretched for kilometers and significantly degraded air quality. Firefighters worked throughout the night to extinguish this unusual blaze. Detachment of couplers is one of the most common incidents on railways, primarily caused by faulty automatic couplers. Liziba Station is one of the world's most famous train stations, located within a 19-story building as part of the Chongqing Metro in China. Owned by the metro system, the building houses numerous offices. This unusual design was not an architect's whim, but a solution to the area's challenging terrain, requiring the monorail to navigate steep elevation changes.
Doors on right side will be opened.
In 2024,
In 2024, a freight train derailment paralyzed life in the city of Sonora, California, on the morning of January 20th.
Oh, great. Now I got stay in my car.
Shocked drivers watched as several tank cars went off the rails and rolled onto a busy intersection, damaging the road and nearby vehicles. Fortunately, the propane tanks were empty, so the dangerous situation didn't escalate into a catastrophe. According to a spokesperson for the transport company, the derailment was due to soft, saturated soil that compromised the stability of the tracks. In 2018, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, saw its biggest train accident in years when 7 freight cars derailed within the city. The situation was complicated by the fact that the train was crossing over an automotive tunnel, causing the cars to roll off and drop from above. Fortunately, the cars were only carrying dog food and mouthwash, not hazardous materials. Investigators found that the engineer had done nothing wrong, operating the train within the permitted 30 km/h speed limit. The cause of the accident was ultimately determined to be a broken or cracked rail. The transportation company estimated the damages from the incident at around $800,000. In June 2022, a devastating train derailment occurred in the small town of China, Texas. A freight train carrying open coal cars went off the tracks near the town's main intersection, spilling its cargo onto the roadway. Fortunately, the flying debris from the cars didn't harm any people or vehicles, but it caused significant damage to the road infrastructure and knocked down power lines. Most importantly, the accident blocked traffic in that area for nearly a day. In Thailand's Samut Songkhram province, the Maeklong Railway Market attracts thousands of visitors for its unique atmosphere. This vibrant market is set up right on an active railway line. 8 times a day, a passenger train rolls through, creating a live spectacle. As vendors quickly fold up their canopies and skillfully move their baskets and crates to precise spots just inches away from the train's path. As the train crawls through, it passes mere centimeters from colorful produce, fruits, and goods lining the tracks. This practice developed when the railway was first built in the early 1900s, as local vendors refused to relocate, creating a remarkable tradition. Transporting rails is a complex process that requires strict safety measures. In this case, workers attempted an unloading maneuver by synchronizing multiple forklifts, a complicated plan with high potential for errors.
No. Hey.
No!
Hey, stop!
No!
The result was a unique accident. A parked rail car derailed, creating an unusual scene as it came off the tracks. In Marsh, Pennsylvania, 15 freight train cars derailed. As is often the case in such incidents, nearby residents were evacuated due to the cargo, which included liquid fertilizers and tetrachloroethylene, a degreasing chemical. Although no hazardous substances leaked this time, incidents like this always pose an environmental risk.
Surrounding area.
Now the NTSB and Federal Railroad Administration are investigating the cause, supervising cleanup, and will ultimately clear the tracks for use.
An unusual incident was captured on video in Houston, Texas. One of the cars from an extremely long, empty train derailed for some unknown reason. Remarkably, this didn't seem to affect the overall movement of the train for a while. However, the situation became critical at a level crossing when vibrations caused a wheel set to break loose from the derailed car. Careless parking near railway tracks can lead to fatal consequences, and here is the proof.
Aquí Notisistema informando. Hasta aquí mi reporte, Joaquín. Dice el tren que le vale verga. A delightful surprise for all train enthusiasts. A spectacular sight. Norway's railway snowplow in action. Seeing a collision through the eyes of a train engineer. This video was filmed in Moore, Oklahoma. It's alarming to see heavy train cars unexpectedly derailing just a few meters from vehicles. It's best to distance yourself from the crash site as soon as possible. Bridge accidents are always especially dangerous. Luckily, after a train derailed at an interchange in Kansas City, The engineers managed to respond promptly. While the accident didn't result in any falls or significant damage to the bridge, the engineers had to work hard to remove the damaged cars from such a height. As panic can lead to poor decisions. Fortunately, the train hadn't reached full speed. Over time, oil residues tend to build up in a locomotive's exhaust system. When the diesel engine ramps up its power, these residues ignite, burning within the exhaust pipes and creating an impressive sight. Grain. During the rainy season, Indian trains practically turn into water transports. In just one night of intense frost, a thick crust of snow and ice built up on a locomotive. For engineers, the top rule in such extreme cold is to keep the engine running at all costs. One might think that flooding would be a good reason to halt train operations, but that's not the case. This crew of engineers in Argentina didn't even slow down while passing through the flooded area. Sparks under trams are caused by a weakened connection between the wheels and the tracks, which often happens due to rain or fallen leaves. The Federal Railroad Administration of the United States is responsible for ensuring safety in rail transport. This includes experimental work, such as conducting crash tests, to improve standards and regulations for rail operations. The average person, these collisions vividly illustrate the tremendous amount of energy train operators must handle. All train cars in the US have a lifespan of 50 years. After that, they take their final journey before being retired as scrap metal. This is what the last leg of that journey looks like. Typically, open cars have special drainage holes, but this time the car turned into a pool on wheels.
Paris, I may have overreacted just a tiny bit. But hey, here's the good news. At least we didn't get wet, right?
The Harz Mountains are a popular tourist destination in Germany, where you can enjoy a ride on an authentic, narrow-gauge railway built over a century ago. But even on such an idyllic route, mishaps can happen. Thankfully, in this case, it only led to a few minor scrapes. A train arrives at a snow-covered remote station in the Scottish Highlands. A stunning sight. Once it breaks loose, a rail car can accelerate rapidly thanks to inertia, speeding along the tracks like a meteor. Diesel engines are rugged relics from the industrial era. Just starting one up is like watching a mini volcanic eruption.